In this tutorial I will show you the whole process of creating melodic techno track in style of Argy, starting from building cinematic breakdown, creating really powerful bass, drums and synths, and of course processing signature Argy tribal vocal. What's going on, everybody? This is Múrten and welcome to Argy Melodic Techno production tutorial. Just a quick reminder, you can download the template that I've created in this tutorial on my Patreon page. And also, if you missed the previous tutorial on Argy Melodic Techno, go watch it by the link in the description. And now, no more words needed, let's go! Okay guys, so before we'll start creating our breakdown, I have prepared three send return channels. The first one with the short verb for the drums, the second one with the long verb for the synths, vocals and other stuff, and the third one with the delay. Now we can slowly move to our breakdown production and we will start from the bass. For most of the elements in this breakdown, we will use an amazing free plugin by Spitfire Labs called BBC Symphony Orchestra. I really noticed that in most of the Argy tracks he really loves to use the cinematic breakdowns, and because of it we'll use this plugin to create an elements like a bass and the chords from the live instruments. So we will produce our track in C minor K, and now I will pick the notes for our breakdown bass. Yeah, sounds good, and with the third note I wanted to create some tension. Okay, sounds good, and now we can repeat the first note. Now this bass needs some EQ, and most of the time I'm using the stock Ableton EQ. And we will cut all the low frequencies below 75 dB. Now we will use the notch filter and we'll remove some frequencies around 100 Hz. And don't forget that we really wanted to hear the bass sound from this instrument, and because of it we will cut off the high frequencies. Yeah, I really like how it sounds, and now let's listen to the whole MIDI clip. Okay, now we can move to our chord production, and I will use the same plugin but the different instrument. So for the first layer of chords I will use the violin instrument. We will create the empty MIDI clip. Now I will play with the notes and I will use two octaves, the lower and the higher. The lower notes will repeat the notes of the bass. Now we will add the high notes. Now we will try to make this melody interesting. Yeah, I really like how it sounds. And in the end we really need to add the two high notes. These notes will create a really cool transition. Yeah, perfect, and now we can duplicate this MIDI clip, but we will leave the space between these two clips for duplicating the notes of the bass on these chords. here we will go only on the C minor note. Yeah, I really love how these two instruments sound together. And now we will add some EQ on these live chords. And of course we need to cut off the low frequencies. And I think we will cut the lower frequencies around 450. Yeah, cool, and now I will reduce a few dB in the frequencies around 2000. Yeah, perfect, and work is almost done, and now we will boost the high frequencies of these live chords. We will boost the frequencies around 5000. Now I really love the sound of these chords, and now let's listen these two elements together. Okay, now we can add the second layer of our chords, and for this layer I will use the serum. We will use the same notes as on the first layer. Yeah, I really love the sound of this preset, but I will play with the filter cutoff knob. I think we need to create some dynamic in the sound, and we will automate the filter cutoff knob. Yeah, I really love this automation, and now we will add some EQ on these chords. And I think we need to cut off the low frequencies around 300. And we need to boost the high frequencies like on the first layer with the live chords. Yeah, now I really love how it sounds, and now let's listen all elements together. Okay guys, and now I will create the third layer, the last one with this diva. From the third layer I wanted to hear this bright pad sound. Because as you may hear, in my opinion, when you are layering the sounds and the instrument, they all must have the different characters. So the first live chords are sounding like a live instrument, the second layer, the synth chords, is like have a synth sound, and the third layer is the pad chords with this bright sound. Okay, I really love how this pad sound, but of course it definitely needs some EQ. We will cut off the low frequencies around 300 Hz. And now we will boost the high frequencies as on the previous layers. Okay, let's play with the Q knob here. Yeah, cool, and now let's listen all breakdown elements together. Yeah, I really love how all these instruments and synths are sounding together, and now we need to create some automation for creating a tension and progression. We will use the basic auto filter on the whole group of the chords, and we will create the automation that will help us to introduce all the elements from the chords group to the listener. And now let's listen the final result with our breakdown production. Okay guys, and before we'll start producing our drop, I have prepared a separate channel with the sidechain trigger and sidechain compressor. I will copy and paste this sidechain compressor on some elements in the track. Okay, and now we're finally moving to our drop production, and we will start from the kick selection. So I prepared all the samples for you guys, so I don't want to waste your time. I really noticed that Argy in most of his tracks really loves to use this fat and punchy kick. So I think this type of the kick is perfect for this track, and now it needs some EQ. And of course we will remove the super low sub-frequencies on the kick below the 35 Hz. And now we will use the notch filter, we will find the main kick frequency and we will boost it a bit to help the kick go through the bass. Yeah, perfect, and now I really love how this kick sounds, and now we will extend this kick for the whole drop. And as you may see guys, I will cut off the kick from some places in the drop because I have a cool arrangement idea and you will see it a little bit later. So we've done with the kick, and now we will move to our bass production. As I may hear in most of the Argy tracks, he really loves to use the bass consists of two layers. The first layer is the top bass and the second layer is the really strong sub bass. And now for this top bass we will create the empty MIDI clip and we will play with the notes. And as you may see, for this top bass layer I use the stock Ableton bass called Basic Trigger Bass. With this top bass layer we really need to create some dynamic and groove. Okay, I really love how this top bass sounds with the kick, and now I will play with the knobs in the bass. We will definitely remove all the low end. We will reduce the high end a bit. And we will reduce the drive knob a bit too. Now I will increase the attack because I really wanted to remove this click from the beginning of the top bass sound. And we will increase the time knob so we can add the body to the top bass. I will reduce the volume in this bass because I will add the utility on the channel for better volume control. Now I really love the balance of the volume, but this top bass definitely needs some strong EQ. We will cut off the low frequencies around 200 Hz. Now I will clean the frequencies around 600 Hz. And now I will cut off the high frequencies from this top bass. Now let's play with this Q knob. And now let's listen to elements together. And now I will add some short reverb from the center tone channel on this top bass. And here's the small production tip, guys: never use the reverb directly on the channel with your bass, because the whole bass sound will start sounding muddy. Use the reverb only through the center tone, because the reverb will organically mix to the bass. Okay, now we're moving to sidechain, and I will use the Shaper Box plugin. Perfect, and now I really love how this top bass sounds with the kick, and now we can extend this top bass for the whole drop. Okay guys, and now I will change the top bass notes in the end of the half of the drop according to my arrangement idea. Okay guys, and now I will slowly open this idea. We will follow the notes that were created in the breakdown of our track. If you remember the notes that were created in the breakdown, as you may see, the whole bass group will follow them in the end of the first half of the drop. Okay guys, and now we will create the second layer in our bass group with the sub bass. I will use the preset from the Diva VST. And for the sub bass, we will create the empty MIDI clip and we will play our sub bass only on the one long note. And now we will extend our sub bass MIDI clip for the whole drop. And as you may see guys, I will copy these notes to the second half of the drop, but in the end of the first half of the drop, we will change the notes according to our top bass notes and notes in our breakdown. Yep, and we will place these notes right here. Yeah, cool, and now we really need to work hard with the EQ on the sub bass. Don't forget guys that we're creating the electronic dance music, and the two key elements in all these tracks are kick and bass. And we really need to make them sound good together. And now I will add the stock Ableton EQ. We'll start from cutting the low frequencies below 35 Hz. Now let's play with the Q knob. And do you remember guys that we boosted the frequencies on the kick around 55 Hz. Here we will reduce a few dB on this frequency for giving the space to our kick through the sub bass. Now we will boost the frequencies around 120 right after the kick frequency removing. Now let's play with the Q knob. Okay, now we will cut off the high and mid frequencies from our sub bass. I think we will cut all the frequency above 200. Perfect, and for the sidechain we will use the same sidechain compressor like we used on the top bass. And now let's listen our kick and bass together. Cool guys, I really love how our kick and bass sounds, and now we're slowly moving to our drums production. First of all, we'll start from creating this clap/snare. This group will consist of two layers, and the first layer is the snare and the second one is the layered clap, but we will start from the snare. I found a really cool and tight snare, and now we will place it on the channel. Now I think I need to reduce the volume a bit. Yeah, cool, and now we will add some EQ on the snare. Of course, we will remove some low frequencies around 200 Hz. And now I will boost the high frequencies on the snare a bit. Yeah, cool, and now let's listen this snare in the whole mix. So we've finished with the snare, and now let's move to our layered clap. As you may see on the waveform, you can see this space right in the beginning of this clap. And if we will just copy this MIDI clip from our snare and we will insert it to the clap, you will hear that they're not playing in the grid. So we just need to go into the MIDI clip with this clap, and we just need to move these notes a bit to the left. I really noticed that Argy really loves using this type of the claps in his tracks because they're adding this humanity to the sound. Yeah, cool, and now they sounds good together. Now this layered clap needs some processing. We will choose the one-shot mode and we will trim this clap a bit. And we will play with the fade out knob. Yeah, cool, and now we will add some EQ to this layer clap. And same as on the snare, we will cut off the low frequencies, and after that we will boost the high frequencies a bit. We will choose the shell filter. Okay, cool, and now let's listen our clap and snare in the mix. Okay, cool, and now I will add some reverb through the send return channel on the whole group of our clap/snare. And the final EQ on this group to remove the lower frequencies. Okay, now we can add a layer with the closed hi-hats. Now we will create the empty MIDI clip for these closed heads. And when I will play with the notes in this MIDI clip, I will adjust the velocity to add the groove to our closed hi-hats. Now I will make the stem a little bit quieter, around -10 dB. Okay, and now I will change the velocity of these notes. Now I will duplicate them for the whole MIDI clip. And now I hope you can hear the groove that we are added by changing the velocity. Now I will extend this MIDI clip for the rest of the drop. And now I will add a little bit of the short reverb from the send return channels. Okay, cool, and now we can move to this closed hi-hats processing. First of all, I will add the cool effect called noise drums. You can hear how cool hi-hats start sounding when we are added this effect. With this effect, all the drums start sounding more crunchy and noisy. Okay, now we will add some EQ. And we will cut off the low frequencies around 3000. Okay, and now let's listen all the elements together. now we will add the second layer of our closed hi-hats. Okay, and I will place this sound on the channel and will create the empty MIDI clip. And first of all, I will place these closed hi-hats like an open hi-hats to add a ghost closed hi-hats in the future. And now I will try to play with velocity on these ghost closed hi-hats to add some groove. Now I will reduce the volume a bit and will add the reverb through the center turn. And now we can finally draw our ghost hi-hats. Yeah, cool, and now I will make this note a little bit shorter. Now I can draw the rest of our ghost closed hi-hats. Yeah, you can already hear this groove that were created with this ghost hi-hats. And I think we need to add 2 more of the ghost hi-hats. Okay, now let's listen all together. Yeah, cool, I really love how this closed hi-hat sounds, and now I wanted to add some delay. Now let's play with the dry wet knob. Okay, cool, and now let's listen these closed hi-hats in the mix. Now we will add some open hi-hats. Okay, we'll place them on the channel and we'll create some empty MIDI clip. I will duplicate these notes for the whole MIDI clip. And now let's listen these hi-hats in the mix. Okay, I will reduce the volume. And now I wanted to make this open hi-hats a little bit shorter. Yep, and after the trimming I wanted to play with the fade out knob. Yeah, I think now it sounds much better. Now I wanted to add some short reverb through the center turn channel. Now I will extend this MIDI clip for the rest of the drop. And now I will add this amazing effect called noise drums. I really wanted to hear this crunchy sound in this open hi-hats. Yeah, cool, and now we will add some EQ. And we will cut all the low frequencies around 3000. And now let's listen these hi-hats in the mix. Okay, now we will start adding some drum loops and we will start from the closed hi-hat loop. Yeah, this one sounds cool and we will place it on the channel and we'll reduce the volume. And here's the small production tip. If you want to make your loop sound more tight and short, go straight into this loop, choose beat warping mode, then transient, then forward, and then you can play with the amount of the transients. Now you can hear the difference. We added the small reverb from the center turn channels. Now we extended this loop for the rest of the drop, and now I wanted to make this loop sound more white and stereo. We will add an afterpan and we'll play with the knobs. Let's play with the amount and the rate. Okay, now it needs some EQ. We will cut off the low frequencies around 300. Now let's listen this loop in the whole mix. And now I wanted to add some sidechain to this loop. I hope you remember that before I started to create the drop, I created a separate channel with the sidechain trigger and sidechain compressor. Now I will use the sidechain compressor and will play with the ratio. Yeah, this one sounds good. Okay, and now we will add some percussion loop. Now we will place it on the channel. I think we need to reduce the volume a bit. And don't forget about the warping. Go straight into the sample, choose the beat warping mode, transients and forward. We will add some short reverb through the center turn channels. Now we will extend this loop. Okay, and now one more time we will add the noise drums effect. I just wanted to make this loop sound more crunchy and noisy. Okay, now let's play with the knobs. And we'll play with the dry wet. Okay, now we will add some autopan to make this loop sound more white. Let's play with the amount and the rate. Now let's listen this loop in the whole mix. Okay, now let's add some EQ. We will cut off the low frequencies around 300. Now sounds good. And now we will cut off the high frequencies a bit, around 5000. Okay, now let's listen the whole mix. Okay, now let's add the final part in our drums group. This is the pre-drop clap. We will use this one right before the drop and inside the drop like a drum fill. We will create the small and empty MIDI clip. Now we will reduce the volume a bit. Okay, and for now I wanted to change the fade out knob. Okay, now I wanted to add some overdrive on this clap. Now I will add some EQ. And we need to cut off the low frequencies from this clap. We will cut the frequencies around 250. Okay, now we will clean the high frequencies, reducing them by using the shell filter. Yep, and now this clap sounds good. And the final step, we will add some long reverb through the send return channel. Okay, and now we will create the signature Argy lead. I will use the Diva VST with this cool lead preset. Now we can create the empty MIDI clip, and I will start playing with the notes. This lead will consist of 2 octaves, the lower octave and the higher. The placement of the notes reminds me the signature anima style. And at the end of the first half of this MIDI clip, we will place 4 notes, not 2. Okay, and now I will try to make these notes a little bit shorter. Yeah, I like how it sounds. We need to make these 4 notes also a little bit shorter. Perfect, and now we can build the higher octave. The notes on the lower octave all will be on the C. We will change only the notes on the higher octave. Perfect, and now let's try another note. Yeah, I really like how it sounds, and now we can duplicate all this half to the whole MIDI clip. Okay, now I will reduce volume and let's listen this lead in the whole mix. Yeah, lead sounds amazing, and let's extend this MIDI clip for the first half of the drop. And in this section we will change the lead notes according to the bass notes. According to the bass notes, we will try to make the sound of the lead more emotional. Yeah, cool. The lower octave notes must be exactly like the notes of the bass. And right here we will change only the high octave. Now let's listen to the whole MIDI clip. Perfect, and now let's listen to the whole mix. Oh, we need to put down the 2 notes. Okay, and now a bit of the sound design. We will play with the frequency knob in Diva. I wanted to create a small automation on these 4 notes to give the dynamic to the lead. And right here we will make the automation. Okay, and now we can duplicate this automation for the whole length of the lead. Now let's let's listen the whole mix. Okay, now we need to put some EQ on the lead. Of course, we need to cut some low frequencies. I think we will cut the low frequencies around 100 Hz. Now I wanted to give a little bit of body to this lead, and I will boost the frequencies around 200. Yeah, now it definitely sounds better, and I will clean the frequency around 3000. Yep, and now let's play with the Q knob. And last but not least step, we will boost the high frequency on this lead. Yeah, now I really love how the lead sounds, and now let's listen it in the whole mix. Okay guys, and now we will add the second layer to our lead, and I will use the diva as well. I will use the same notes. When I added the second layer of the lead, I wanted to hear this crunchy overdrive sound. Okay, now I need to reduce the volume around 10 dB. Okay guys, and now I will use the EQ on the second layer. I will use the same EQ that I used on the first layer of the lead, but with only one difference. In the first layer of the lead, I boosted the frequency to give the body to the lead, and here I will reduce a few dB of this frequency. Yeah, sounds better, and now let's listen all together. Yeah, cool, and now we need to create the same automation that we created on the first layer of the lead. We will play with this cut off knob. Let's open up the automation on the first layer of the lead, and we just need to recreate it. Now it looks familiar, and now let's listen to these layers together. And now we can just duplicate this automation. Okay, and now let's listen the whole mix together. Yeah, perfect, I really love how the whole group of the leads sounds. Now we will use some reverb and sidechain on the whole group. Usually I'm using the reverb only through the center turns channels on the lead to make it sound more clean, but in that case I really wanted to use reverb directly on the group. Here we will use the stock Ableton reverb with the preset called Large Space Chords. I think we will leave the decay on the 4 seconds and the dry wet on 25%. Now we will copy and paste our sidechain compressor. We will play with the ratio knob, and I think 1.20 would be good. And now let's listen the whole mix. Okay guys, the time has come, and now we will process the signature Argy tribal vocal. I found this cool vocal sample on YouTube, but it needs huge processing. And first of all, we will go straight into the sample. And the first step, we will improve the BPM. The second step, we will choose the Complex Pro warping mode and we will reduce the envelopes to the minimum. And of course, we need to reduce the sample on 2 semitones because our track in C minor key and this sample in D minor. And now with the big help of the metronome, we will move this sample because this sample needs to play in our BPM. Okay, I hear we need to trim this little tail in the beginning. Yeah, now it sounds perfect. Okay, but for now we need to cut off this sample and create the one bar. I'm searching the good parts of this vocal sample to consolidate them. Okay, let's try these 2 parts together. Yeah, I really love how it sounds. And now we will create the small fades on the sides of the cutted samples for a better transition. In this part of the sample, we will use the mix fade. Yeah, I hope you can hear how clean this transition sounds. And now guys, we will create an amazing trick called reversed reverb tail. And for this trick we need to add a new empty audio channel. Now we need to cut off this first second with the vocal. And now we need to put the really huge amount of the reverb on this new audio channel. I think we can just copy and paste the reverb from our center turn channel with the long reverb. Now we will apply this reverb on this channel. Yeah, this sound is exactly what we need. I know guys, you have a lot of questions, but be patient. Now we will create the third empty audio channel and we will send the resampling signal into this audio channel. We need to set 2 our created audio channels in solo. And now we will record the signal on the third audio channel. And I think now guys you can understand what we can do next. And now guys, we will take the sample from the third channel, we will cut only the tail from this sample, we will trim it. Now we will go into the sample and press reverse button. And now let's hear the final result. And that's how you can produce this amazing reversed reverb tail. Now just put this tail right before our vocal sample and delete 2 created audio channels, we don't need them anymore. Now let's create the small fades on the vocal and let's listen the final result. Yeah, that's really amazing, and now let's listen this vocal in the mix. Okay guys, and now we can move to our vocal processing. And first of all, I want to apply my favorite distortion plugin called Thermal. We will use the preset called Widen Hit. Now let's listen our vocal. Okay, and now we will apply an EQ. And this vocal definitely needs a really huge amount of the work with the EQ. First of all, we will cut off the low frequencies around 200. And now we will use a really huge amount of the notch filters. We will search the harsh frequencies in this vocal and we will clean them. And the first one on 275 Hz. The second one on 560. The next one on 1100. And the last one on 3000. Cool, and now the final step, we will boost the high frequencies. We've done a really good job with the EQ on this vocal, and now let's listen to this vocal in the whole mix. Okay, in the last step we will use the sidechain compression on this vocal. We will copy our sidechain compressor and we will put it on the vocal. I think here we really need a huge amount of the ratio, and I think 1.85 would be good. Okay guys, I think our vocal is ready, and according to my arrangement idea, we will place our vocal right before the drop starts, and we will place the vocal in the whole second part of the drop. Okay, and now let's listen all together. Now we can just duplicate the vocal on the whole second part of the drop. Okay, and now I wanted to create the second layer in our vocal group. In this layer I want to use the single one shot of the vocal with the long reverb and delay. We will cut off these shots from the main vocal. Now we're looking for a single notes. Yeah, like this. Okay, I think we found what we need, and now we need to cut them off. And now the process of trimming the main vocal. We need to cut exactly the small parts. I hope you can hear the idea. Okay, and now we need to create the small fades on each sample to create a smoother transition. Yeah, sounds cool. And now let's listen all pieces together. Okay, now let's add some long reverb for the center turn channel. Okay guys, and now we need to process these vocal pieces. And like on the main vocal, we will use the same distortion plugin called Thermal with the same preset, wide and hit. And now guys, I wanted to create a cool trick with the delay. We will use the stock Ableton delay with the preset called 8-dot-ball. Now we will use it on the vocal. Now we will turn down the feedback knob to 30%. And we will set the dry wet knob to 25%. And now we will increase the reverb knob to 100%. I really love this delayed tail with the reverb. And now this vocal needs some EQ, but we will simply copy and paste the EQ from the main vocal. And now we will copy and paste the sidechain compressor from the main vocal also. But the only one difference that we will reduce the ratio knob to 135. Okay, now it sounds cool, and now we will place this vocal according to my arrangement idea. And in the beginning of the drop we will leave only the first vocal sample and we will duplicate him. And now let's listen all together. Okay guys, and the last part of our track is the noise group. And we will start from the tonal riser that we will put right before the drop. I really like that inside this riser we can clearly hear the impact. Now we need to reduce the volume. Okay, now we will add the cool sweep down. This is just a huge white noise that we will place right in the beginning of the drop. And another sweep down we will place right in the beginning of the second part of the drop. Oh, we need to reduce the volume. And now we will add a huge reverb directly on the sweep down. You guys might think that we can add a huge reverb through the center turn, but I really wanted to make the sweep down sound more harsh, and because of it I will use the reverb directly on the channel. And now let's listen all together. Okay, and the last part of our noise group is the two sweeps. The first sweep is the short one, and the second is long. We will place it between the different parts of the drop. The short one right here. And the long sweep we will set right between the first and the second part of the drop. Okay, in the last step we will put the sidechain compression on the whole group of the noises. We will copy and paste our sidechain compressor to our noise group. And I think for the ratio 1.15 would be good. And here's the all elements together. Okay guys, we created all elements of our track and we're coming to arrangement. We will start from the intro, where we will open our elements slowly one by one. You can hear only kick, bass, one-shot vocal and some FXs. Here come the rest of the drums. And here the clap/snare starts playing. Now this vocal tail introduces us to the rest of the second layer of the vocal. And now guys, we're moving to the cinematic breakdown. Here you can see that we're removing the top bass with the automation of the volume on utility. With all the bass and chords that were created, I added the vocal. Here comes the lead groove with the automation on the after filter. All elements are slowly opening to the first build-up. And now we're coming to the first build-up, and here's the nothing special, just impact FX and the vocal. And we're slowly coming to our first drop. You can see here that we're using only the kick, bass and the vocals. Here the rest of the drum starts playing. Here we're opening the clap/snare. Okay, and here is the second build-up. In this section you can hear the lead with the automation, the vocal and some FXs. And here's the second drop that were created a few minutes ago. In the first part of the second drop you can hear the kick, bass, lead and some vocal and FXs. Here's the rest of the drums with the pre-drop clap. And here's the vocal tail that opens up the second part of the drop. In the second part of the second drop you can hear the kick, bass, drums, our main vocal and some FXs. And now the final part of our track is outro. Here we're slowly closing up all the elements from the track. You can see the auto filter automation on the lead. And now the lead is slowly fading away. And the last part of the outro, this is the reversed intro with the same elements. here's the end of the outro, and that's how we produced melodic techno track in style of Argy. Yep, that's it guys, thank you so much for watching this tutorial, I hope you liked it. Just a quick reminder, you can download the template that I've created in this tutorial on my Patreon page. And now, don't forget to leave your like, comment and subscribe. See you in the next videos.